Hey guys, it's Shubho. As you can see, I'm a bit messed up. It's late in the evening now. I've been working on some things. Now, today we are going to do a Photoshop tutorial, and this one is going to be on the adjustment layers that you see me using, and you can use them too in your whatever you want to do in your photo editing and everything. But this one is going to be a little different because I'm a little short on time. I have to go somewhere else. So this video will not be it will not be both me talking at the camera and doing the thing. It will just be my voice over the screen recording. If you like this style of video, please let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. We're going to switch back to the old format. But this is a little special thing. If you don't like it, I promise you I'm going to switch back to my old format of doing my face over the video. But for now, this is what we have. We're gonna do this video really quickly. I have a photo of myself. Yes, finally the photographer gets a good photo clicked with the courtesy of my friend. With that said, let's do it. And remember, if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Comment down on what you want to see below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. By the way, am I saying you thank you for watching? Anyway, let's skip to the tutorial, to the screen. So as you please don't mind the mess there. It's it happens when artists work. Anyway, so as you can see, I've been editing this photo, and this is a very good picture of mine that one of my friends took. So yeah, look at this handsome specimen of a man. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Becoming narcissistic. So this is the actual photo. This is not the actual photo. I'm sorry. This one is the actual photo. And if you see that the color is a bit off, and that because it is accidentally the camera on my flash. I mean the camera that's on the. Did I say the camera on my flash? I meant the flash on my camera. Like the one that is on there, the front facing one, the pop-up flash just popped out and it triggered. Because it was on auto, my friend was clicking, it wasn't on manual, so that's what it is. But anyway, we're going to work with this because I'm not trying to make it a beautiful photo here. But so let's do this. Let's delete these things that I was, no, let's keep them. I'm going to do something. I'm going to click this, and as is proper etiquette, we are going to go Control J, and we are going to duplicate the background because we need to edit it. So we're going to go and we are going to edit it. So we are going to click on this icon here, this circle thing divided into two parts, and we have the adjustment layer. This is the adjustment layer icon, and we go solid color, and as you can see, it applies a solid color. It can be anything, I don't know, like maybe this one. Does this look like an orange color? Maybe a red. Let's keep on to my favorite colors, like blues and cyans. Let's bring out I like this color. Now you may say that this thing absolutely does nothing. It puts a very normal green color to it. Well, that's what it does. And there's, as you can see, almost all adjustment layer comes with a mask, so you can paint over it to reveal what's underneath. And the brush opacity is down. You can just move it even more. Oh, so the flow is 100, the opacity is 33. You can move it down to like 18, and you can have this very dreamy look. Or you can go Control I, which will invert the mask, and then if I move the opacity up, you can actually select the mask and make sure this is white, black on the foreground, white the background. It is now, but you need to invert this so that white reveals and black hide. Now currently the mask is hidden, it's black, so I'm going to reveal it with white, and as you can see, I can do this, or what I can do is I can say Control I, and it is here, and I can go to blend mode, and I can see, you can see I can use the different blend modes to create different looks. Now this will depend on the actual picture you're trying to edit. I'm just showing you here what these different adjustment layers can do. This is a very funny edit. This is a very, the hue blend mode apparently does this. This looks like something else. Okay, so you get the idea what you can do with it. Now with that said, let's go on to the other thing. So the next layer is the gradient adjustment layer. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna pick gradient, and as you can see it's gray to nothing, and we can just click it and we can change it to, I don't know, black. Works for me. You know, this, and we have a lot of things to change. We go here and the scale, we can change the scale of it, and I can see it gets darker and darker. Yeah, so if you want it more diffused, you can increase the scale. So these things come in handy. Let's say you have something to write here, so you have a color and then you write on the color and then you have the picture, and then you can also choose whatever color you want. You have some basics, you have white and gray, you have some blues. Now of course with all of this you can choose the radial gradient or the angular gradient, and you can change the angle from here, and you know, you can change all these things. And another thing, of course, you have the blend modes, and you can change them to get different kind of looks. Right now, Caesar warning, if you are epileptic, look away. I'm sorry I didn't tell you that before. So darken, you have multiply, you have color burn and color dodge. This is on the lighten screen, and you have color dodge, linear dodge, lighter color, and you can change it to see what works for you. But for now, we are going to move to the next. Why is it not getting deleted? Be gone. Yes. Now we are going to move to the next adjustment layer, which is pattern. Of course, you can have, let's say, multiple patterns. You have this pattern, you have this pattern, you have grass. Yeah. Trees, you have water patterns. Okay, and you can also add new pattern and all these things. So yeah, this thing fills you with pattern. You can increase the scale, you can decrease the scale, and it will kill my computer. Yes, as you can see, we can change the angle. And what the hell happened? Oh, the pattern got so small that it's not working. And of course you have your blend modes to play with, although it's looking very awkward. No. What happened? Let's do the pattern again. So I'm gonna go to pattern. I'm gonna pick a pattern, and we can just reduce the scale. This will kill my computer. Please hold on. And we're gonna hit OK. And now you have all this. Adobe, if you are listening, this is not supposed to happen this way. I'm running an RTX 3070. This is not supposed to happen this way. Anyway, so you get the idea. Let's delete it for now, because Yes, I want to delete this thing. Okay, okay. I added the brush tool. So the next option is the pattern, and then you have the brightness contrast. And of course, brightness contrast comes with the mask. So you can increase the brightness. Let's say I want to decrease the brightness on this one because of the jacket. And decrease the brightness like this. But I don't want it all over. What I'll do is I'm going to click on this mask. I'm going to hit Control I, invert the mask, and take the brush tool and paint over the areas that I don't want to be bright. And as you can see, this part isn't bright anymore. So most of these adjustment layers will usually come with a mask, and that's what the main purpose of this is, because if you really wanted to apply something on the whole image, you would just use it. Like if I really wanted to decrease the brightness of something, I would just go to the camera raw filter or just decrease from image adjustments and brightness and contrast. But we use these things because it comes with a mask and it's much easier. Otherwise I'll have to go in, change something, use the mask, and it takes time. Anyway, that said, we're going to delete this because we don't need it. So the next option is levels. Now levels are a little bit of a dumbed down version of curves. So if you know curves, you're not going to use levels, and I do have a video on curves, so please check it out. So this is basically the same thing as curves, but a little worse. So this is the black point, this is the white midpoint or mid-tone, and this is the white point or the brightest point. So the darkest point, we're pushing it further, so the darkest point is increasing. As you can see, it's getting darker. Now the mid-tones, if I'm moving it this side, it's getting brighter because we are making it brighter. And the highlights, of course, the more you move it to this side, the brighter it gets. And then of course you have the blacks and the white, you have the shadows and the highlights, I'm sorry. And you can just move this. It's the blacks and the whites, not the shadows and the highlights, yeah. And it does the same thing, you get it? It basically takes the shadows, the mid-tones and the highlights, and you can change them. But the next option is even better. So I'm going to delete this, and we're going to take, we will do that, adjustment layer, curves. Now this is the OG curves that everyone uses, and so this is basically the brightest point in the image. Let me just make it bigger. So this is the brightest point, this is the darkest point, and this is how bright something is and how dark something is. As you can see in the as the default setting, the darkest point is the darkest, and the brightest point is the brightest. That's pretty simple. This intersection is the shadows, this is the midtones, and this is the highlights. This is the white and this is the black. So white, shadows, black, shadows, midtones, highlights, whites. And you can change it, the standard S curve, as they call it. Let me remove the points. I'm going to go standard S curves. That adds a little bit of contrast, but I don't think we need so much of contrast, but you get the idea. Now you can change it, you can make it like this, you can make it like this, and it looks very awkward in this situation, but there are uses. I do have an entirely separate curves tutorial on this channel. The links will be in the description and on the iCard, so please check them out. But you can make an image look more muted with these, because of course they're going to look muted when you lift the shadows up. So if you're trying to make an image as if it was like taken in a dark rainy day, this is how you do it. But of course with this image this will not go very well, because of course it's taken on a very sunny day, and no, so not gonna happen. Now we are gonna take the next, which is the exposure. As it said, we are going to increase or decrease set exposure of the image, and of course it comes with a mask. And the offset also controls the darkest and the dark areas of the image, not the highlights. Highlights are controlled by the gamma correction. But these things, if you move them very little, it gives very quick results. So be very careful. As you can see, this 0.0 something correction is making this thing very big. Like the highest is point, like we are not even going at like 1. So be very careful with this. This thing controls the highlights. This thing controls the shadows, as you can see. Now, with that said, we can have presets as well. I think many of these adjustment layers have presets. What do I mean? I think they do have presets. Okay, now we're done with that. Let's have, what was that again? Exposure, we have done it. Let's go to Vibrance. Now, Vibrance is a dumbed down version of saturation, and why I prefer Vibrance more than saturation is because it doesn't mess with the image as much. It adds color, but it doesn't add so much color that it's gonna hurt your eyes. You will get to know. So let's say I increase the Vibrance, and you can see it does add color, but it still looks good at 100% Vibrance. It looks a bit colorful. It's not bad. Now let's see what saturation does. And as you can see, I have turned myself into a person that has jaundice. So this is why I don't like it. So which is why I like it, because it makes me feel good about this. I can add vibrance to something and not make it look like something has gone terribly wrong. And that's that. So we're going to delete this. Now we are coming down to what? Hue and saturation. Now in hue and saturation, of course, you have presets, and you can use these presets. But let's say you don't use presets, because oftentimes I don't, and let's say I change the hue, and this is masters, and you can choose red, greens, yellows and magentas. So that will affect that particular channel. So red, so let's say you take red, let's say let's say green, because greens are very prevalent here. So let's say I take the greens and I make it very red, and I bump the saturation up. As you can see, my skin color is more or less the same, but wherever the computer thought that it was green, it basically made it red. But the other parts of my image, of my body, are pretty much same, because it's not affecting that. But if I go to masters, and let's just undo everything, now it will change or add whatever color you pick on the hue slider right over here to whatever color there is. So green and red, yellow and green. So you have green on green. Now you see the colors coming back. You have blue and blue. And this is the middle point. We are coming to it, and then we go to the other side and we keep adding color, and I look like a character from Avatar. So don't do it. Yes, I did get a trim after this image, so yes, my ears look horrible here. But you can also adjust the saturation of said colors, and you can also adjust the lightness. So if I go full, so yeah, that can happen. But you can also colorize. Now with colorize, if I go to 0, let's say this is and 0 and 0, you can see it's basically black and white. So I can add color and increase the saturation. I can basically add color to the image, right? So let's say I add a blue color, and it adds a color. And then I can use the mask. Let's say I want to make it an orange and teal version. So I take this color, I decrease the saturation, go here, no, this is fine. And then, of course, I can use the mask to hide it, and then I can just paint over the places that I want the color on. So this is very useful when you're doing the dual tone lighting effect. Now that tutorial is also linked in the description and on the I button, so do check them out. Now this is something, and another thing is, okay, so this is done, and then you have the lightness. So you can increase, you can make it brighter or less bright, completely dark, whatever. With that said, this is done. Then we're gonna go back to color balance. Now, color balance, the name suggests that there has to be a balance, and by that it means you can individually change the color of the midtone, shadows and highlights. Say I want my shadows to be, let's do an orange and teal, so we're gonna go to cyan, and I want my highlights to be, let's say I want it to be reddish. And although you can't say that it's particularly orange and teal, but what you can say is it's close. So the shadows are here and the highlights are here, and you can see I can add or reduce color from the shadows and highlights. That's what you use it for. You can check the preserve luminosity option, and that makes it look horrible. Anyway, you know what it does. Delete. Then you go back to black and white. Now this is a very funny thing. You think that why are there so many colors when it's just black and white? And the reason for that is it's going to change the blackness, going to make that particular color more black or white. So let's say greens, because greens is very prominent. As you can see, my face almost remains the same exposure, but the trees, the leaves becomes very dark. Let's take my skin color, let's go with yellows, and as you can see I become very dark. So this is what this thing does, and you can see my shirt going dark with the cyans and the blues going dark. Absolute chaos over here. But my jacket, because it's gray, this thing just stands out. And of course you have colors that you can choose, and then if you choose tint, you can choose any color, so it doesn't really have to be black and white. You can choose a color, and you can choose how much of that color to add to another color. Anyway, that's that. With this, I'm gonna hit delete. Yes. Then we're going to go to photo filter. This basically does what it says, which is add a filter, and then you can increase its density. And of course, as you can see, all of this comes with a mask, so you can use the brush tool to mask it out, whether you need it on the subject or you need it on the background. You can do that. If you want a masking tutorial, it will be available very soon. It will be available very soon. Okay, now the next one. Let's do this and let's delete, and let's say we want to do channel mixer. So With channel mixer, you can see a value right over here. It says plus 100. The value cannot go up the value cannot go up above 100. So we're going to try to keep it as close as 100 so we get as much color as possible from this image. But the moment it goes up above 100, it's going to show you a warning sign. It doesn't work. So let's say I want to, this is red 100, so I want to decrease the red. Let's say I increase the green and I increase the blue, and it still says plus 89, so I can still, and as you can see, it shows a warning sign whenever it goes above 100. So I'm going to keep it at 100. That's our best guess. So at 100 I look like an alien, but you get the idea. You can choose this, decrease the blues, increase the reds and everything. And then you can go to green channel and you can decrease the greens, decrease the reds. Play with it, see what effects it give you. Now remember something, if everything is 0, let's just put it 0, 0, 0, and if I go red, let's go red 100, and I go green 0, blue 0. This is just a red channel. I'm going to go to green. I'm going to go to green 100, red 0, and blue 0. This is going to give you the original image back. Red 0, green 0, and blue 100. As you can see, you have the image back. But then you can change the value of each and every channel and see what results it give you. So if you have a blue channel and I won't want the blue, I can move it. And as you remember, it's CMY and RGB. So if you remove the blue, it's gonna be more yellow. And if you increase the green, it's going to be green. But if you decrease the green, it's going to be magenta. And if you decrease the red, it's going to be cyan. So you know these, and this is how you use the channel mixer. You mix the different channels. I have actually done this. So I'm going to go to 100 red. So I'm going to increase the reds. No, I don't want to increase the reds. I'm going to increase the blue a little. Reds make me look something like this. I want to do that. I'm going to increase the greens. I'm going to increase the blues right up to here. And you have that, copper and black. So as you can see, you particularly, sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. You just have to play with it and find out what exactly happens when you change the colors. So play with it. Have fun, enjoy the process of creation and learning something new, as I am with you people. And if you have any suggestion in order for me to better my craft, drop it in the comments. I would love to learn. Now, another thing is, let's go color lookup. Color lookup is basically LUTs that you can use. LUTs is lookup table. And you have various colored things that you can use, as you can see. And load 3D LUT basically takes you to your file explorer where you can load LUTs. That you can do as well. If you have other LUTs that you have downloaded from the internet, you can use them. For now, you understand what this does. So I'm going to delete this thing, and we're going to go to Invert. I have absolutely no idea why you're going to use it, but in certain cases it might be useful. Maybe you are trying to make a horror movie poster. I have no idea. Anyway, let's just go back. Okay, let's just go back. But here's a fun thing. the yellowish tone on my skin has become blue. The blue shirt has become yellow, and the greens have become magenta. So remember that. Right, let's go Control Z and let's not do this. Let's go Posterize. Now, Posterize is basically your image turning into a vector art or like a you know, poster, color poster. So vector art basically, if you have seen those. So this is basically levels that you can add. So the minimum is 2, which is basically 2 colors, but which is now basically yellow and blue, I believe, and white. So, but you can add more colors and you can see more colors coming back. But if we just increase the image all the way, then you have all the colors and then it looks just like the image. It doesn't add a good effect. So you want to keep it lower, but you want to keep it as low as possible so that the number of colors stay low and you still get the effect. So you're going to hit this and delete. And the last is threshold. This makes you look like a black and white poster. If the threshold is 1, it's purely white. If it's black, 255 is purely black. But you can use it to get a very funny effect on you. And then of course you have the mask. If you want to just paint over this thing, you want to hit Control I, and you want to, let's say I just want my subject and I'm painting okay. This looks really cool, not going to lie to you. Hey, doesn't look that bad. What do you say? Do you guys like it? Do you guys like my new form, new body, new form, should I say? Those villains in these superhero movies, they get new forms when they go into different chambers and stuff. Like this? Hate it? Let me know. I'm gonna put this up on my Instagram. Anyway, so let's delete this. This is a fun. Now let's go threshold. Let's go gradient map, and of course you can choose your gradient, and you have your blues and everything. And by the way, blend modes are always there, so feel free to use them whenever you want and see what everything does. And masks are always there, so if you want the effect on one particular part of your image, go ahead, do it. Delete on this one, and we are going to the end of it. I just leave the mask instead of the layer. Anyway, so we're gonna go here, and then we have selective color. Now in selective color, you can actually choose, let's say we have reds, and if we decrease the cyans in red, as I said, the opposite of cyan is red. It's going to make my picture more reddish, but if I increase the cyan, it's going to make my thing more bluish, because cyan is the opposite of red. Hooray! I have magenta, and then I'm starting to look. But this is just affecting the red channel. As you can see, only my skin is getting affected. The entire trees and the skies are exactly the same. So this comes handy when you're trying to change a particular color in your image. And you can be very specific because you have yellows and everything to play with and see what the results are. As I constantly say, there are presets over here. There's a mask and there are blend modes. Play with them. Play with the adjustment layers and see what results you can bring. With that said, that's gonna be it for today. We'll see you in the next one. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.